and Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid. Now, the Disney version, this is not. It's a more mature story that really benefits from sticking to the source material, making the characterization some of the strongest we've seen in TOEI since quite a couple of years now. The animation direction was done by Reiko Akiyama, who was Japan's first female animation director. Little Mermaid is not a powerhouse in animation, but it is a consistent one, and dependent. It looks to me that it may have even inspired TOEI's later work with Sailor Moon, in terms of the protagonist and her sisters.
Didn't mind the storm, I was with Fritz. You'll never come of age if you don't stop playing around with it.
This is the version that introduced talking fish and crustaceans as well.
Again, you know your orders. Fine, Princess Marina, no matter what.
The story's moral is about not always getting what you want, of unrequited love. These are things everyone has to deal with, and the story does a fine job introducing them as concepts to children in a responsible way. It doesn't hide away from the darkest sections of the story, and at some points it can be quite violent, in ways I wasn't even expecting, even if it does remove some of the harder edges from the story. For example, that when she walks, it does like daggers in her feet. That might seem a bit excessive to some audiences. I will warn you that there is a lot of nudity in this film, so that might be something you want to consider if you're showing this to children. The mermaids don't wear clothes, but why would they anyway? They also focus more on the Little Mermaid's sacrifice in giving up her voice and her life in the sea, showing there were consequences to that action. This version is not a musical, but it does have a couple musical numbers. Both are quite boilerplate. The intro does the job, but the latter that happens in the middle of the film really comes out of nowhere and doesn't have a place in the film. I can't say I enjoyed the villainous cat. It was a bit excessive, though it's only included in a small part of the story, but I really liked the idea that moral quandaries were the main part of the drama within this film. Overall, I do recommend this version. It's closer to the author's intent than the Disney equivalent, although I will say the Russian version from 1960 is my personal favourite, but this version does expand a bit more on the story than that one could. It's a well-executed glimmer of hope in a sea of questionable TOEI films.